Dallas is kind of a city that's always sort of looking out for, well, what are we doing? Who else has done this, and does it work? And Lincoln Center is an example, but it's a totally different environment.
Yeah, Lincoln Center is actually it's one that Dallas isn't alone. Every place that builds a performing arts center points to Lincoln Center, and it's kind of odd because none of the characteristics follow in any other city. You don't have arts organizations of that scale that can use buildings like that. You don't have the money of New York. I mean, none of those things apply anywhere else.
Everything that's all immediately around it.
Yeah, but lots of other. I mean, if you look at Philadelphia, the Kimmel Center, or Broward County, or Miami. I mean, in South Florida, you've got Kravis Center in Palm Beach. You go 40 miles south, and you've got the Broward Center in Fort Lauderdale, and you go 25 miles south, and you've got the Arch Center in Miami. You go other places around the country, whether it's the Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center or the Woodruff Center in Atlanta or Tennessee Performing Arts Center, Kentucky Center for the Arts, Pittsburgh Cultural Trust. I mean, a lot of cities, I don't know a lot, but about 24 really have things like this. New Jersey Performing Arts Center in Newark.
Have they, a lot of the hope, I think, a lot of people are pinning on this is, well, this will be a catalyst for launching an international reputation, whether it be, now that the symphony may perform wider and be considered closer to the top 3 or 5, whatever it is, and likewise with the opera. Have you seen that profile raise in some of these other cities?
I'll just point to Broward County. We did a project with Brazil, for example, and that resulted in full-page articles and opinion pieces in Brazilian business press about the linkage with South Florida. You look at, and I'm not suggesting that a performing arts center by itself does this. It's one of those necessary components, though, of a comprehensive plan. Any city, look at about 4 or 5 months ago in the Wall Street Journal, there was an article about Singapore. A city that certainly has a worldwide reputation, a city that is a great business community. And this is in the Wall Street Journal, the business publication, and what they're talking about in there is the emphasis that Singapore is placing on the arts and culture to assure its status in the world. Now, if there's ever a city that you'd say, as a world financial, trading, mercantile, commercial city that is pretty secure, it's Singapore.
Right.
And yet they are turning to culture, and I know they built a large performing arts center maybe about 8 years ago. I know the director there in Benson has been very clear that part of the reason that performing arts center was built is because Singapore felt that it needed that dimension of what it was to compete effectively on the world stage. You look at London with the South Bank Center and places like that. There's a very conscious element that London, arguably one of the top financial centers in the world, still needs this dimension to be seen as a true world city. And so I don't think I don't have that big an ego, and I don't think any arts organization does, that thinks single-handedly we change what a city does. But I think if I look at this center, or I talk to my colleagues and look at other major centers, that all of us as individuals heading up these organizations and as boards themselves understand that we do have a significant role to play in a very direct sense, and that we have a responsibility to be aware of that.